Welcome back to Nick Lenz Comic Corner Classic Class No Classics. This is episode number 2012 and Doubleshot number 1906. I got two Batman related trades. Here we have the very first trade that collects this ongoing series. Now, I really enjoy reading this series. It's just really good. And it's a series that, from what I can tell, there definitely wasn't demand for this one, especially as there's not been a series for these characters in years. I think at the time when this book came out, it had not been a book for them like a year maybe. We have Batgirls. Yes, it is a team-up book featuring the first three Batgirls. Barbara Gordon, Cassandra Cain, and Stephanie Brown. Mostly put, Barbara Gordon acts as Oracle in the first half of these issues. Now, this book contains the first 6 issues of the Batgirls ongoing series, along with the prelude from Batman 115 to 117. Basically, the backup story of those issues. I believe that was actually during the Fear State stuff. That's where this whole team came out. Now, I love the fact that Cassandra Cain is basically back in her pre-Flashman costume. Stephanie, well, her per se, it's not technically her pre-Flashman costume. It's like they basically just kept her in her spoiler costume and put her in, gave her a bat symbol. That's mostly all they changed here. Because the pre-Flashman costume looked nothing like this up. But basically, she's a Batgirl. So, who's main villain of these issues? Spellbinder, an old Batman villain. Now, we have Ben Cohen and Michael Conrad basically doing the writing here, with Sarah Stern and Ivan Paris. Actually, that's the colorist. You have Jorge Correa, who does basically the tier and the cover artwork. Sarah Stern also does cover artwork as well. Now, as basically is basically the first trade. Now, the cover for the trade is also the cover for the first issue of the series. Now, each issue contains basically, like, first you have Clueless, which is a nod to the movie Clueless. So, most of the book focuses on, well, you have Cassie and Stephanie, where they're out in the field, and they're dealing with a rogue AI. Whilst they with Spellbinder. That's basically what they deal with in these opening 6 issues of the series. And it's just really good. I do recommend if you are fans of Batgirl. It definitely feels like a Batgirl book per se. Yep. Cassandra Cain is basically written out normally she's written. Except the fact she's not written the way she was in her original book, where she couldn't talk for a while until she learned to talk properly. Here she talks normally. Perfectly fine. But definitely in character. Oddly enough, now, despite being a Batman book, you might be thinking, okay, we have 3 Batgirls here, and also halfway through the book, Bar puts on her Batgirl costume. You're probably thinking, which one? Was the one that actually she had at the end of her previous ongoing series? Nope, not that one. It was the one at the start of the last volume that she had. A costume that, well, that from what I can tell does get a lot more love as it got a second look, and people love this costume a lot more than the previous costume. Now, I have no problem with the replacement costume. It was the mask that I have a problem with. Basically, giving her a domino mask was an absolute stupid idea. And basically, it barely hides it. The mask was so tiny. Like, that frickin' sucks. This mask is better. I'm glad they put her back in this costume. But yeah, great start for this series. I'm definitely looking forward to the rest. Now, after this Spellbinder, who's next? Well, we have Seer, who is actually who she was controlling Rogue AI, and apparently she needs help from the Batgirls. Great start for this series. Give the book a 9.5 out of 10. Next up is a mini series. This is the next Batman's Second Son. Excuse me. Now, this book in particular is noteworthy for being the first post-Flash appearance of Tim Fox, Luke Fox's brother. Now, he is a pre-Flashpoint character. He is not original like Luke Fox is. Except, here's the thing. Pre-Flashpoint, Lucius Fox had definitely 2 daughters, Tam and Tiffany Fox, though they did swap who was the older one. I think they made Tamara, who was the younger one in pre-Flashpoint, here's maybe the older sister, and Tiffany, the younger one. In the case of Tim basically was around the early years of Lucius Fox, And here he is, basically brought in. This is done by John Ridley, and the artwork is done by Tripper Freeman. Now, oddly enough, Jace Fox does not appear outside of his own book. He has never appeared in any other book. If you look at any appearances he makes, does he appear in Batman for Fear State? Nope, he doesn't. He's not there. It's like whatever goes in this book is contained in this book. It does mention the stuff around it, but it does not interact with it very much. Now, Jace Fox himself, basically, Jace Fox was brought in purely because of the fact that he had just introduced, they brought him back technically with Future States. This is more of his first proper in-universe appearance because that was an Ultra Continuity Future State. So, most of this mini-series, you have a lot of stuff for Future State. That's most of what this book is. And here's the thing. Unlike I Am Batman, which that's an ongoing series, this was a digital-first series that was basically released online. And it was, this book is roughly 4 issues. So you got roughly I'd say about 8 chapters per se. But this was just the first book first. And the I Am Batman book basically picks up where this book leaves off. Now, this is the first costume Jace has as Batman. Yes. It's definitely something interesting per se. Now, one thing they do explain here now why he was gone for some period of time. Apparently when he was a teenager, he accidentally ran over somebody when he was 17. And he went away for a long time. And he's brought back to Gotham City by, of all people, Grifter. Yes, Grifter. Why in the world did Grifter be the one brought back in? Because he's Lucius Fox's bodyguard. That's why. He was asked by Lucius Fox. This is also jokingly referred to because, well, Lucius Fox has got the Wayne fortune. So some people call Wayne Enterprises, Wayne Tech, Fox Tech. I don't know why, but that's basically what it is. Now, Jace Fox, a lot of the time in this book, Luke Fox hates his brother. That's the way this book is written. It's that he just can't stand around his own younger brother. Despite the fact he's trying to redeem himself, and later he does kind of try to by becoming the next Batman. But that's basically also his mother represented by that trial. And here's the thing. He was halfway through giving a statement, and his mother's like, nope, we're done. We're going now. Yes, seriously. That's how John Ridley wrote Mrs. Fox. As somebody who interrupts her own son giving a statement over an accident. Yes, seriously. That's how John Ridley writes the character. I don't like how he writes Mrs. Fox at all. She's very stubborn. She's basically very pig-headed. Jace Fox, in her hand, now, Lucius Fox is very level-headed. I appreciate the fact he does not basically write a complete moron like he does with Mrs. Fox. Tam Fox, basically, look, Fox, she's there to hug her older brother. No, she goes to the other brother, Jace. Now, the one thing this book does not explain is why. Now, I get the fact he's trying to change his name, but why? Now, his real name is Timothy, and his nickname was Tim, and he goes by Jace. Why in the world he chose Jace, I have no idea, because the book itself does not explain it at all. It's like the whole point of this miniseries is just to bring in Jace Fox as next Batman, just to do I Am Batman ongoing series. That's literally the whole purpose of this miniseries. Now, aside from the fact I don't like how Mrs. Fox is written, it's definitely a good story. The only problem is basically, aside from the Fox family, the only character not associated with them is basically not related to them, is of course Grifter. There is also appearance in here by Renee Montoya, but you can kind of think of this as basically like a laying the ground, like a prelude into Fear State, because they also have Simon Snake appear in this miniseries, along with the Mayor of Gotham City. Also is brought up in this miniseries, that actually is brought up in other books, where Renee Montoya is offered the position of Commissioner of GCPD, which she actually currently is right now. So you could say that is mildly listed up here, but the whole thing with Jace, it's like we have all the other stuff related to the other characters. That's not ignored in other books. But him, it's like, and here's the weird thing about this book. We have Luke Fox here, aka Batwing, does play this damn costume the whole miniseries. Nope, he doesn't. As far as I can tell, there's no reason why he can't be Batwing anymore. It is one of the most weirdest things I've ever seen. Batwing, an absolute great character. and yet he is written to be a jerk in this miniseries. I'm not really sure why John really thought it a good idea to do that, but you read this miniseries and like the only good character that's written in this miniseries is Lucius Fox, because I think that if you wrote him as a jerk, he'd probably get a lot of flack for it, given the fact that Lucius Fox is a beloved character. There's a lot of fans who still love Lucius Fox, but here's kind of the weird thing about Lucius Fox per se. He didn't get a lot of notoriety as a character until he appeared in Batman Begins. Yeah, he appeared in comics since the 70s. But if you weren't a comic fan, you would not know anything about Lucius Fox. He did appear like one episode of Batman Animated Series. But Batman Begins made Lucius Fox a lot more prominent character in more other Batman media. I mean, since that movie came out, he's featured in everything. He's featured in the entirety of the Dark Knight trilogy, played by Morgan Freeman. He's also featured in the Batman Arkham games. I believe he's featured in pretty much all of them. And he's just a really good character. And you gotta thank Chris Nolan for doing that. But here, the sisters, they're gonna be fine. Got no problem with that at all. It's just that my only gripe with this miniseries is how Jason's mother and his older brother written. That's the only thing I don't like about this miniseries. Yep, that's pretty much it, particular view. Next up, I think dinner might be ready. I'm going to basically hold it off here and do my review later on for Case Closed. Okay, next video. Bye.